What's up, everybody? I'm Simon Sabro, and today I got for you my top 10 favorite manga that I read in the year of 2022. So before we get into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Simon Sabro YT. Link will always be down in the description. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an upload, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to comment down what's your favorite manga that you've read in the year of 2022. Anything like that, whether it was physical, digital, whatever, doesn't matter. Just comment it down. Even if you want to put down like 5 of them, just go ahead, comment something down. Also, be sure to check out my YouTube membership if you're interested, if you want to help directly support the channel. But with all that out the way, let's just jump right into it. Now, one more thing before we start, I do want to mention that I don't think any of these actually came out in 2022, but these are just stuff that I did read this year. So the first thing on the list, and it also is in order, so 1 being like my favorite read, 10 being least favorite, but still my favorite, you know? So first one being Raw Hero, volumes 1 through 6, which is all of it. You can kind of see it right here behind me. But this was honestly one of my favorite reads this year. It is hilarious. It is by Akira Hiramoto, which is the creator of Prison School, sorry. And another manga that he has made that honestly should have made the list, but it's on hiatus, and it's called Me and the Devil Blues. I'll put a picture of it on screen. That one was also a banger. Like I said, it is on hiatus, but it would, if I were to put it on the list, it would probably be like top 5. I'll be very honest. That one was fire. But Raw Hero, like I said, I can't show too much of it because of if you know, you know. Even if you've seen Prison School, then you definitely know. But it's a really funny story. So it's about our main character. I forgot his name. You're probably gonna hear me say that a lot this video. But our main character, he's trying to get a job so that he could like financially support his 2 younger brothers, because he's the only one capable of having a job in the house. And he wants to, you know, save up enough money for them to be able to go to college, all that good stuff. But he's just trying to make ends meet. So he keeps going to jobs. He keeps getting, like, doesn't do too well on the interview, so he doesn't get jobs. But then an opportunity arises for him to be like a double agent. So with the hero organization, he would infiltrate the villain organization and act like a villain and kind of just report back to the heroes. And it's really interesting. Not so much the actual story of it, but along the way there's a lot of like romance that comes in, which is hilariously done. And just like, how if you read it, you would definitely understand, like I said. But it is very, very interesting, and there's a lot of pages here that I can't show as I'm kind of flipping through them. But the art in here is amazing. Hiramoto's art is really, really good. And honestly, like I said, it gets that number 10 spot really easily. Definitely, you know, up there for what I've read this year. Now, after that is one that I really enjoyed, and I kind of bought it on like a bit of a whim, and that is Liquor and Cigarettes by Ranmaru Zaria. And this is a BL manga, but honestly, this probably almost made it to like top 5 as well. It was kind of close, I'm not gonna lie. I say that, but it got to 9. But this was honestly a banger. For one, I just want to talk about the art in here, if I could get the page. But the art in here, especially just this color page, it is just so beautiful. But it follows the story of 2 characters, one named Theo, one named Camilo. I forgot which one is which. I believe Theo was the blonde one. I could be wrong with that. So Theo, the blonde one, owns a liquor store, and Camilo owns a cigarette shop. And they're like right across from each other. They've been best friends for however long. So Theo is bi, and not Theo, sorry. Camilo is bi, Theo is straight. And what happens, there's like a lot kind of going on, and Camilo kind of confesses to Theo. But like I said, Theo is straight, so he's kind of not really going for it. And it gets really interesting in a lot of ways. There's also a lot of pages in here that I also can't show, but it gets really interesting. Just the development between the 2 characters, as well as the other surrounding characters. And it is just this single volume. And for it just being 1 volume, it honestly does a lot and a really good job at kind of developing the characters and pushing the plot forward. So there's two plots going on simultaneously in this story. One plot is that Theo, the one with the liquor store, is really bad at holding his liquor, but there's a wine tasting competition coming up, and he kind of gets forced into participating in it. But like I said, he can't hold his liquor at all. Meanwhile, Camilo is really good at holding his liquor, so he's like teaching Theo, how to get better with it. But the other plot point is that Camilo kind of wants to go on a trial date with Theo, and they're acting like they're in a relationship just up until the wine tasting competition ends to see how Theo feels about it. As they kind of like the nights go on, they start to get a lot closer and stuff happens, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it is really good, especially just how the two plots are like balanced out. It's so interesting and so well done. Honestly, it was amazing to read. And I don't think I've read anything else by Scarlet Barico. You could kind of see, I think, not Scarlet Barico, Ranma Rosari. I don't think I've read anything else by Ranma Rosaria. I think I have one more thing there. I think Fourth Generation Head is also by them, which I have read, but I did enjoy this one significantly more. Now, for number 8, I think we're on. It is Go With the Clouds North by Northwest. This one is one that I read pretty recently. It is 5 volumes, and I literally just went straight through it. The most interesting thing to me in this manga is, for one, the art. The fact that the characters change outfits kind of periodically is also really cool. But my favorite thing is the pacing in this manga. The pacing is all over the place, but it doesn't feel fast or slow. It feels very natural. I'm not sure how to explain it. You'd kind of have to go through and read it to understand, but the pacing feels really natural. And funny enough, I don't think this is actually complete. I had heard somewhere that volume 6 was coming out soon. I could be wrong. Maybe it was a dream. I don't know, but this manga was such an adventure to read. So many different plot points at literally every single chapter was just different. And it was just so unique. Like I said, the pacing really stood out to me. And honestly, if I had to recommend one thing off of the list, it would most likely be this. I'm probably going to say that again as the list goes on, but this manga was phenomenal to me. Just the detective, because he's bored, kind of just going around solving not crimes, but mysteries, making a little money on the side, going on adventures, exploring Iceland, hanging out with friends, meeting new people. It was just so much going on at every single point of it. And it was just so, like I said, so fresh, so unique, and just so natural. Now, this next one is digital only, and it did come out this year, and that is Akane Banashi. I don't own it because, like I said, it is digital only so far, but I'm gonna put some pictures up on the screen as I go. But Akane Banashi, you've probably heard of it. It's a pretty popular upcoming Shonen Jump title, and it's about this one girl named Akane, and it's about Rakugo. If you don't know what Rakugo is, it's a form of acting where it's kind of just one person sitting on a stage and all they have is a fan for a prop. I don't think I explained it that well, but if you know, then you know. Definitely go check out Akane Banashi. This is another one I would definitely recommend. But it's really interesting in the fact that I've never read anything regarding Rakugo before. Like, I didn't know what Rakugo was until this manga. But also another thing that really stood out to me was, well, not stood out, but something that I liked was that me personally, I really enjoy stories of characters creating things that they love or doing things that they love. For example, like Bakuman, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, Akane Banashi, stuff like that. Shoha Shoten is another one where characters like trying to grow up and just be passionate about something and enjoy it. And this one did it really well. The art is phenomenal. I can't say anything. Like, just the first chapter alone was just so amazing. And I would honestly say that if I was talking like strictly things that started this year, I think this would easily be like top 3, maybe even number 1. But the first arc of it, because I am caught up to it, but the first arc, which I think is like 22, 21 chapters or so, that was amazing. Just every single chapter was just a banger. And I'm really excited to see where the author goes from here. But that's really it for Akane Banashi. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, not for any reason. I just don't have it physically. So I can't think of things to like say off the top of my head. But another one that I did read very recently is Sensei's Pious Lie. If you check my most recent reading log, I think it's the video right before this actually. This one was my favorite read in that reading log, and it is amazing. It is a very mature manga. I don't know if you can really read this because of the glare, but it is a very mature manga and very, very dark. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because, like I said, I did talk about it in literally the previous video. So if you want to hear me talk about it a lot more and go more in depth on my thoughts on it, definitely go check that video out. And honestly, I think I said this in that video too, but these first couple of pages really tell you everything you need to know, like as far as the tone of this manga goes. And I think the topics kind of discussed in this manga are extremely sensitive. And I love it. That's another one of my favorite type of mangas. Just things that make you think, manga that make you uncomfortable, stuff like that. And this did it really, really well. It is 4 volumes. I believe that they are like 2-in-1s, so it's supposed to be like actually 8, but it is 4 volumes in English. And every single volume just had me guessing like, okay, I think the story could end right here. What's gonna happen in the next thing? And then new problem happens, and it's like, okay, well, dang. And then that gets solved, and it's like, okay, well, I can see it ending here. And then boom, another new problem. And like I said, the way it was just gone about was just so interesting. So many taboo topics. That's the proper term. And like I said, I loved every single second of it. Now, the next one I used to have a physical of, but I gave it to a friend and I did read the rest of it digitally. And it does have an anime right now, and that is Blue Lock. I don't really know what to say about it. Blue Lock is amazing. Especially if you read it digitally and you're caught up. Whew, I ain't gonna say nothing. But it is amazing. Just from the characters, the art is phenomenal. And it's like, it's such a unique take on sports manga in general. And that really like stood out to me. It is amazing. If you haven't read or at least watched Blue Lock, please go and do it. It is amazing. You will not regret it. Even if you don't know anything about soccer, because going into it, I didn't know anything about soccer and I still really enjoyed it. And I'm gonna just put a couple of the panels up on screen. Just a little bit of the art. Like I said, it is honestly amazing. Definitely go and check it out. You will not regret it. But the main thing I liked about Blue Lock was just how each character was very unique in their way that they like, because it wasn't so focused on teamwork. So each character's individual traits, individual skills, and just their own personality just kind of shone way brighter compared to, say, something like Kuroko's No Basket, for example, because it's a little more or a lot more team focused. And I think everybody having that drive to be the number one in Blue Lock makes every character relatable to an extent, because you can compare each character to another because they all have that very similar goal. And just the writing of the characters and the pacing of the, not fights, but the matches it was so well done. And it is a banger, honestly. All right, so for number 4, this one I haven't talked about in a really long time, but if you did see my top 10 like favorite manga in general, this was on the list, and that is Boys Run the Riot volumes 1-4. It is amazing, and this was honestly, as you can tell because it's on the list, but one of my favorite reads for this year, and honestly probably gonna stay one of my favorite reads for like forever, honestly, because it was just that good. Just, oh, Boys Run the Riot was just so good. I don't really know what to say. If you haven't read it already, please read this. And this is another one where a lot of topics are very sensitive. It's about our main character here named Rio, and she is biologically a female, but she identifies more as male. And so already right from there, it is a very interesting kind of battle with the main character's self-esteem, self-confidence, and as well as just knowing themselves and understanding the world that they live in. And the art in here is amazing. So it is about our main character Rio, and the way that he feels like he can properly express himself is through fashion, because through fashion he doesn't have to dress like a girl, wear a dress or anything like that, except at school. And even in school he mostly wears a tracksuit. And it is very, very interesting. And here's that tracksuit I was talking about. But like I said, they have a very deep passion for fashion and they really just want to pursue that. So then there's another character that comes by. I forgot his name. I want to say his name is Jin, but I could be wrong. This guy right here, I'm gonna just call him Jin. Sorry. But Jin, he's also really into clothes, but he doesn't have like any artistic ability to do it, but he's also really into clothes. So the two of them team up, all that good stuff. A lot happens and they start to get a photographer. They start to really build a group, build popularity, and just go through with that. And it is, like I said, only 4 volumes. So if it's not that much of a commitment, going by, you'll enjoy it. I can guarantee it. Honestly, I can really guarantee it. But this is kind of their first thing they start out with. Nothing too crazy, of course, but like I said, it is just such a beautiful story in the way that all of the characters grow, especially the main 2 characters being Rio and Jin. Like I said, I'm not sure if his name is actually Jin, but I'm gonna just call him that. And in 4 volumes, so much happens, and it feels like, dang, I kind of wish it went on longer, but at the same time, I think that the way it ends is just beautifully done. You can kind of see the rest of the volumes right back here, but it is beautifully done. Now this next one, I don't even think I gotta talk about much, honestly. Hell's Paradise Jigoku Raku by Yuji Kaku. And this is a banger. When I read this, because I was going through the list of things that I read this year, like, because for my reading logs I'll write them down, and I was going through it and I was like, oh yeah, Hell's Paradise is definitely on the list. And this one is getting an anime soon, sometime next year. It is getting an anime by Mappa, and I already know it's gonna be a banger. I'm really excited to watch it. I don't think I'm actually gonna watch it because I don't really watch anime like that anymore. But let's just start out. Okay. The story is about, I think it was 13 like death row inmates, and they're all sent to an island to find this elixir of life, which is basically an immortality potion. And whoever's able to bring it back, or whoever finds it first, can basically come back to their main island, and they're given a pardon, so they're no longer on death row. That's just the basic premise. Once you get to like volume, I want to say 5, maybe 4, the plot changes completely. But it follows our main character Gabimaru. Let me see if I can get a good picture of him real quick. Main character Gabimaru, who is a ninja, and he's given the chance to go to this island. Let me not say like a chance, but he's forced to go to this island. And he has to work with this other character. I forgot her name. I think it probably even says it right here, actually. Okay, no, it doesn't. But this character, and they go to this island, and Gabimaru's goal is to get the pardon so that he can go back home to his wife. That's the goal. And that's just, like I said, the basics of it. The world building gets way out of hand. It gets ridiculous in a good way. Once they get to that island, it is just ridiculous. And the fights in here are amazing. I don't know if any major fights actually happen in this first volume, but it is really good. And here's the art. It is unsettling at times, to say the least, but it is beautiful. And oh god, here's a really good page. But like I said, it is honestly really good, and I loved it. It was just a battle royale, just all out. And like I said, a lot of enemies get introduced, a lot of characters get introduced. Every character feels so unique, so realistic, because they all have their own goals and ambitions and reasons why they want to get the pardon, so they can just continue on with their life. Some people a lot less honorable than others. Some people you might relate with, some people you might just completely despise. But honestly, like I said, just a beautiful all-around story. Now we are down to our last 2. And this one, I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about. And that is No Longer Human by Usamaru Furia. This was a banger. I literally made an entire video just talking about this and kind of comparing it to the Junji Ito one. Definitely go check that out. if you want to hear about this one or the Junji Ito one. Maybe you're not familiar with either. Maybe you've read the regular one by Osamu Dazai, or you just want to hear my in-depth thoughts on it. Definitely go and check that video out. But like I said, not gonna spend too much time on it because I have made an entire video on it. But long story short, the art in here is amazing. Story really good. Characters super human, super interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna just kind of blitz through it, but it is so good. So good. I really can't say anything more than that, but it is lovable and hateable at the same time, specifically the main character. But it is just so good. If you've read the Junji Ito one and you haven't read this, please go and read it. They are not the same story, I promise you. This one is completely different, and I think they're both good in their own right. Amazing in their own right. But the last one, and if you're familiar with the channel, if you've been keeping up, then this is no surprise. Blood on the Tracks volumes 1 through 8 is what I've read, but I think 11 of them are out. This is my probably all-time favorite manga right now. I'll be very honest with you. Before, it was The Flowers of Evil was probably like top 5 for me, by Shuzo Oshimi at least. But Blood on the Tracks stole the spot so easily. Once I picked up one volume, I literally could not put it down, and I was upset when it was like, dang, I gotta wait for the next volume. So now I think it's confirmed 12 volumes to end, so I'm kind of just waiting it out. And then I'm probably even gonna reread it from the very beginning because it is that good. It is so unsettling, so uncomfortable, just so everything. The characters are just so disturbing, the story disturbing, the art style is so off-putting. Especially like and this is the part where I wish the digital, like I was reading it digitally, because the kind of, you know, slit in the page kind of like disturbs it a bit, but it is just so ooh. And I also did read Happiness this year, 1 through 10. You can see it right there behind me. But Blood on the Tracks was it. It was it. That's it. This was peak fiction easily. No debate. Like, from when I started making this list, I knew Blood on the Tracks was there at number 1 easily. If you have not read it, for one, do a little bit of research. It is very sensitive. If you've read No Longer Human or Sensei Spy's Lie, you got this. You could definitely handle this. If you've read anything else by Shuzo Oshimi, in my opinion, this is probably like his magnum opus. Honestly, that's just my opinion. This is the greatest thing I have ever read, honestly. And if you could stomach it, go read it. So it follows the story of this kid and his mother, or this kid, sorry, and his mother. And his mother is very overprotective. So what happens is that, or what really kicks off the story is that they kind of go for a family outing. It's him, his mom, his dad, and I think his uncles, aunts, and cousins, something like that. And they're fooling around and stuff, and his cousin is playing around too much and kind of pushes him a little bit too hard. So his mom sees this and retaliates with pushing the cousin off of a cliff, and the cousin ends up hospitalized. But that's where it kicks off. The way I explained it probably might not have sounded that interesting, but I promise you that is just the beginning. It is so good. There's so much romance involved. There's so much just plot twists, just twists and turns, and so much just second guessing your own thoughts on what you think might happen. It is amazing. This is all around probably the best, like, thriller, mystery, whatever you want to call it. This is the best story I've ever read, ever, honestly. And honestly, if you have any more, like, if you have any recommendations that are similar to like Blood on the Tracks or anything on this list that you think I might like, definitely comment them down. I love reading a lot of y'all's recommendations as well as checking them out. For example, Liquor and Cigarettes, Go With the Clouds, as well as Boys Run the Riot were all recommendations from people in the comments. So trust me, I do read the comments, especially if they are recommendations, and I try to kind of check them out a bit, do a little research, see if I might like them. And most of the times I'll even go and check them out. A lot of stuff on my shelf is recommendations from y'all. So like I said, if you do have any recommendations that you think I might like, definitely comment them down below. Once again, still also go ahead and comment down what's your favorite thing that you've read this year. Be sure to leave that like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an upload, all of that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram at SimonSabroYT. All of that. Once again, if you do want to help financially support the channel, definitely check out becoming a YouTube member. I would greatly appreciate it. And speaking of which, let's give a quick shout out to our YouTube member. And like I said, that's really it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Simon Sabro signing out. I catch you on the next one.